Hi there. I must say I'm absolutely blown away by the help and support that's been provided by my subscribers and others. It really is very much appreciated. Secondly, I apologise for not getting a video out for the past couple of weeks. I've been busy making pens for Christmas presents. I've also been having a little play with my new toy, which is a mini lathe for metalworking, and that's been really exciting. Anyway, for this project video I thought I'd have a go at making an owl. Now this is very much inspired by a video that Martin Saban-Smith recently produced, and he made a fantastic looking owl. Now Martin has got a couple of accessories for his lathe. He's got an accessory that helps him make spheres, and also he's got a vacuum chuck. Now I've got neither of those accessories, so what I'm going to do is have a go at making an owl, but using accessories that I've either made in the past, or I might actually need to make another accessory to help me make the owl, if that makes sense. So we'll see how we get on. So this is a piece of ash. It's 3 inches by 3 inches, and I'm holding it between centres, so that's a 4-prong drive centre, and this is a live centre. So what I'll do is I'll use a spindle roughing gouge to turn this round. So the spindle roughing gouge is nice and sharp, and we'll turn around 1000 RPM. Increase the speed a bit. $1,500. Well, that was extremely enjoyable, making all those shavings after making pens. So what we do now is we measure the diameter and make a couple of marks just wider than the diameter. And we also mark off the midpoint. And now I'm going to take some of this waste wood away with this parting tool. About 1200. Just rub the bevel and lift the tool. Okay, so I've made this profile to match that circumference. So the plan will be to shape this into a ball so that that fits round it, just like that. So we'll give it a try. About 1200 revs. Okay, so I'm fairly happy with that shape. It's pretty close. So I'm just going to do a bit of sanding, see if I can get the shape a bit closer still. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to just saw these off and then decide how to approach it next. So I've managed to get a reasonable sphere, but what I need to do now is to hold it between centres. Now last time I made a sphere I used these pieces of wood, offcuts that I made, just to hold it like that. But on this one I've decided I'm going to hollow that out and place this nut in it. So if I stick the nut in there, then I'll be able to attach it to this live centre. So that'll give me a better method than I used before, because last time I attached it to the live centre using sort of sticky tape and stuff like that, so it wasn't great. Should be okay. Okay, so I've just mixed some epoxy resin. I'm just going to stick the nut in here. I'll just leave that to set overnight. Well, that's worked out very well. So this is the Axminster multi-head live centre. And screw this on. And that runs very true. So I'm very happy with that. So yeah. And I think as well, it's always here. Something like that. So this is anti-slip carpet. Okay, so for this I'm going to use a round scraper, 3/4 of an inch, and the idea here is to try and get it to be a true sphere. So these areas here are high spots, so I'll have to take very light cuts, I think. It's 1,000 revs. Okay, so I've sanded to 400. It's not exactly spherical, but it's as close as I can get it. So it'll have to be an owl with character. So now I'm going to apply some intrinsic colour. So this is the earth. So that's the stain applied, so while that's drying I'll have a go at making a donut chuck. So having stained it, I decided I wasn't happy with the sphere shape. So I've just come across a video of Angelo's where he's making some spheres, and he uses something like that. So the profile is exactly half the profile of the sphere, and I've put some sticky, double-sided sticky tape in there, put the abrasive in, and put some extra security on the edge, and it works a treat. So I'm really pleased with that. So many thanks to Angelo for the super tip, and I'll put a link to his video in the description on my video. So for the donut chuck, I found this bit of waste wood that fits into the chuck. And I've hot glued it onto a piece of MDF, and I've attached to the MDF a piece of plywood and drilled some holes through here, 4 holes, and I've attached the plywood to the MDF with a couple of nuts and bolts. So on this side I've drawn a circle which is slightly smaller than the sphere, so I'm going to use a parting tool to cut that out. Okay, so I've drawn a couple of sketches to try and work out my dimensions, and I think I'm going to try and aim for that. So what I've done is I've applied those dimensions onto the sphere. So I've got 2 small holes there for the centre of the eyes. You probably can't see it in this light, but I've used a compass to just draw some lines round where I need to carve out the eyes. Okay, so we're into unknown territory now. So what I've decided to do is to centre the eye with this live centre, and I'll tighten these nuts and bolts up. And then once I've done that, I'll withdraw the tailstock, and then I'll swivel the headstock round so I can access it from this angle as opposed to down that side. Okay, so these are going to be very light cuts with my 3/8 bowl gouge. Might be a bit too big, I don't know. We'll see how we get on though. Okay, so I'll sand that and then do the other eye. Well, I must say I found that quite difficult. Having done the first eye, when I did the second eye, the first eye disappeared under the donut chuck. So it's quite difficult to gauge the depth that you need to go to. So I ended up revisiting the first eye and it's gone slightly oval, but hopefully we'll be okay. So what I'll do is put some sanding sealer on, put some finish on, put a beak on, put some eyes in, and we'll see what it looks like. So having put some sanding sealer on it, I'm just going to put some Yorkshire grit on. So some Hampshire sheen, and a quick buff. This is where the owl takes flight. Well, it took a few days for the ice to arrive, and in the meantime I decided to make another owl, which has turned out pretty good. So what have I learnt? I suppose the main thing is trying to get the eye symmetrical. I really struggled with that, particularly with the donut chuck. And when I was making the second owl, I decided to make a modification to the donut chuck. So I created a bit of a recess in there, which actually did hold the sphere a little bit better. So that was good. A couple of things to mention. This video, I've decided not to put any backing tracks on it, apart from the beginning and the end. And what I'll do is I'll pin a question just underneath the description, sort of asking for whether or not people prefer backing tracks or not. So if you do, if you could reply yes, and if you don't, reply no, that'd be great. Secondly, for those interested in metal turning, I'll put a link to my new metal turning channel. And thirdly, I can't believe I've now got over 800 subscribers, which is fantastic. And if I ever get to 1,000, I've decided I'll do a giveaway, and the giveaway will be one of my owls. So I hope you like the results. See you later.